Dear gracious Heavenly Father, once again we come asking you for your thank and your blessing. Heavenly Father, we ask you to bless our city government. Lead us and direct us in the way that you would have us to go, dear Lord. We ask you to bless our citizens. We ask you to bless our soldiers who overseas to protect our country so that we can remain free. Heavenly Father, we ask that you just continue to bless us as you have. Lead us and direct us in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Councilwoman Evans, Councilman Eaton, Councilwoman Montana. Here. Let the record show that Mayor Davis' staff is here. The council attorney as well as the city attorney is also present, and our visitors. Those that are here to appear before the council, I ask that you will go to my right and your left. Please state your name and your address and the reason you are here to appear before the council, and you will have 3 minutes. Madam Clerk.
Yeah, we have 3 add-on. Mr. Daniels going to be a speaker, and Councilwoman Edwards has 2 correspondence. She wants to be made a matter of record. One is in reference to the mayor asking for proposals, recommendations for the budget, and the 7th item is a list of all individuals who had a part in establishing the pilot park. You want those to be made a matter of record.
Okay, City Clerk, I don't have one of them. One from Ms. Edwards, I don't have a copy of that. No, I have that. But it doesn't do.
One is to remind you all of the Prichard 71st Refund event, White Night, on June the 16th, 2012, at Municipal Auditorium Complex. Tickets are $12. The time is 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. And we're asking those citizens who can't come out to attend this event, donations can be made to the Prichard 71st Relief Fund at Commonwealth National Bank, and all donations are tax deductible. Our mission is to assist the Prichard Police and Fire Department with immediate assistance in providing safety for our homes, streets, and businesses. As we go into the summer, where the kids are out of school, there's going to be more increase in crime, home invasion, and possibly murder. I am challenging the council members and the mayor to engage citizens in your district, to have a night to inform them of our efforts in raising the climate of our city and raising our standards. We can do better. Again, I am challenging the district council persons, each district, to have a night that they will call all their citizens together in their area and let them know about the Safety First event and what we're trying to do and to upgrade our society and raise our country and our city. Crime is not the norm, and it does not have to be. I also like to engage the council in thinking about long-term, if you intend to stay in these positions, and these positions as servants, you are paid servants. And you are supposed to serve, not just yourself. Your concern is the welfare of others, not just your own. So we need to be more aggressive in showing the citizens what you are doing to improve the surroundings of the city, not just where you live, but in your district as a whole. I feel that each district needs a community enrichment center rather than a boot camp. You don't get the love in a boot camp. A community enrichment center would engage our citizens, our youth, and our adults. Our kids, this generation, is a selfish generation, and selfish people do not serve. They only care about the welfare of themselves and not the welfare of others. Again, I engage you to make a difference, make a concrete difference, make a change in your districts that we can see, that we can feel more comfortable in our community. And we all need to pitch in and do this. You guys cannot do it alone. Mayor, you cannot do it alone. We need to engage the citizens into helping all of us become better neighbors. We dropped the neighbor and kept the hood. God said, love thy neighbor, not the hood, the neighborhood. And loving our neighbors, reaching out to each and every one. But until we put aside our selfishness and become accountable citizens and elected officials, you are responsible for the citizens of Prichard, not the police department or the fire department. You, the council, and the mayor are accountable to us and responsible to us. Thank you, and remember, safety first. Oh, and I have some tickets if any of you fire department members or police department can come and celebrate with us on next Saturday. I'll have free tickets available for them at the council's secretary desk.
Ms. First.
Yes.
And this is something that I'm requesting. I have not talked to my colleagues about this, but just from me. And I did confer with the attorney, said that I can do this as a council member. Actually, is it possible, please, because your organization, it does raise funds. And this organization is utilizing the City of Prichard Municipal Complex. And I understand your mission, I understand what you're trying to do. But what I am requesting, I would like to see that the expenditures and the assets as far as for your organization, when it comes to this facility utilized for raising funds, be submitted, please, to the clerk's office so we can have a record of it. That's my request.
Okay, when you say expenditures, what are you relating over expenditures? I'm not clear on that part.
Expenditures as far as monies, and I only pinpointed when utilizing the city municipal building. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, my point is, money that's raised during function events that you have in the city of Prichard, without paying the normal fee, I am requesting that money that is raised during that time and expenditures, if possible, you can submit that information to the clerk's office to be made a matter of record.
Let me see if I'm clear on what you're asking. Are you asking me, are you saying that after the funds are collected, you want to know what we raised and what we expended?
Yes. But
that's not a problem because I think I failed to mention that Northside Ticket Exchange is selling the tickets. If I didn't understand, I'm sorry, we'll be on a regular this weekend. And we have an account established at Commonwealth Bank, and I do have accounts right now coming to both, so a bank statement would be sufficient.
Well, I'm just saying access, what you take, only is related to this building.
Well, I think my documents are, I'm accountable for everything, and I think the basic statement will be sufficient for you, and I will provide you any cost that we expended. Without the city's help, anything after the city's function you want to.
Yeah, I mean, you're utilizing the city building, and this is something, because normally I know that this is for the city of Prichard, what you're doing. And I'm thanking you for it. But normally, as advised previously, when we allow this type of function to be given, free of choice, and funds are being raised, in the name that you are going to be expending this money towards a department or to the city, however you want to do it. I'm not asking for me, for a matter of record. I'm only asking that the money that you're taking in for any function utilizing this building and for expenditures, spelled out expenditures where money is going, for a record of that to be submitted, please, to the city clerk, to be made a matter of record. This is
Absolutely not a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Council, Ms. Burris, Council Town. Ms. Burris, I do appreciate everything that you're trying to do, and I believe that silence is consent. If I sit here and not say anything, I'm consenting to whatever has been said. And I would just like to say, for a matter of record, we've not asked any other organization to present any type of financial documentation. We have organizations here that's raising money and doing things and using city facilities all the time. We do not ask them to submit recommendations or submit their financial information. So if you do that, it's on your own free will. But I just want to let you know, I cannot consent to that because that's not the normal practice in which we do.
Well,
I thought about want to do that.
I thought about that, and I thought to ask.
Okay, thank you.
Ask for something else from you guys, but I'll keep it clear.
Thank you. I don't speak for myself now. I can't speak for anyone else. Okay, thank you.
Ms. Burris, I don't want you to say this. The only reason I asked that because you are saying that you are raising money in order to help the police department. You understand, the fire department. This was the only reason why I asked that, because the Prichard City of Prichard name is connected. That was the only reason.
Okay, but
It's always done.
I'll take care of that, but be reminded to set the precedent.
Yes, ma'am.
For other things that might
Yes.
come up, so just be mindful of that. But I will have no problem giving that up, it's an honest event.
Right.
And
I just don't want to sit here in silence because I know it's not done across the board.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate everyone.
Next item, Madam Clerk.
Thank you.
I pronounced the name wrong, it's Kyle Edwards.
Good afternoon, I'm Kyle Edwards. I'm here to inquire about a strip of property in Whistler, and I need to know if the city is willing to sell the property, and hopefully if the city is, very much good job, tender offer to purchase the property. It's a piece of property in the 3200 property landlocked, and so I don't know if the city has any plans to utilize the property. All this property is for sale. But if it is for sale, I'm willing to purchase the property. A representative from Prichard called me today. They got the lady's name. She indicated that she would walk the property and get back to me and let me know the status of the property.
Councilman Town. Mr. Edwards, the city clerk just informed me that she believes that this property is located in my district, but here you have it's listed as in District 5. So exactly where on Whistler Street is this now?
It's in 3200 block. I think I listed District 5 because when I talked with the clerk, she indicated that was in District 5.
They thought it was in District 5.
Right. That could be an error.
That's
I
okay.
don't know, but it's in 3200 block of
Okay.
Worcester, near the Jernigan hardware store.
I'm very familiar with the Jernigan hardware store. I'm trying to figure out exactly what piece of property are you talking about.
Okay, the property is bordered by 3207 Worcester Street, 3215, 3223, 3231. Those four properties that I just indicated are on the frontage, the front, and the property that the city owns is in the rear of those four properties.
It would be my recommendation, Councilman Town, that we forward this to the mayor's office to come back with a little bit more clarification, because even though you're calling those addresses out to me,
Sure.
and I didn't realize this was in my district until the clerk just said so a minute ago, because my name was not on here. But the process that we would do is normally look at the property, decide whether or not if this is of any city use. We would have to declare it not of any public purpose of the city, and we can move forward from there. But at this point, I'm not able to move on this because we need some clarification as to whether or not exactly we own this or not. So it would be my recommendation that we forward this to the mayor's office.
Well, according to the tax records, the city of Prichard does own it.
Sometimes it may list the city of Prichard, and when we look at it, it's not the city of Prichard, it's Prichard Housing. So that's why I would recommend that we send it to the mayor's office so we can come back with some clarification as to exactly who owns this piece of property.
Thank you.
Yes. And then you would be responsible for doing an appraisal and deciding whether or not if you wanted to make a recommendation to purchase the property at the time.
Okay, now, how soon will I be informed as to who the owner of the property is?
Well, we're gonna forward, it would be my recommendation that we forward it to the mayor's office tonight, and you can get with the mayor to decide when he would bring it back before us to let us know all of those details.
Thank you.
Mr. Edwards, may I please, that's you, are you going to utilize the property?
Just to improve the drainage on the property that are presently on.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to forward it to the mayor's office to bring it back. Mayor, when would you like for us to bring this back?
We should have it in 2 weeks, no more.
In 2 weeks. Thank you. Make a recommendation to bring this back in 2 weeks forward to the mayor's office.
Yes, sir. Next time, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Dearden Campbell Morris.
Good evening. My name is Severia Campbell Morris. I reside at 2004 Smiley Avenue, Prichard, Alabama. I am requesting 2 motorcades. I placed it on the agenda. We had to revise the block. I talked with the chief gardener about it, and we have submitted the revised vision of the block. And would like for that to be approved by the city council.
What is the nature of the traffic?
It's campaign now.
Okay.
It's a campaign.
Most of them take place on city property.
Excuse me.
Most of your locations are taking place on city property.
Yes.
I don't look at the coefficient.
Councilman Town, here they have a location at the gazebo at Prichard Stadium, June 16th from 5 to 7. I don't see that being a problem for that location. If they're asking for approval from 5 to 7 on June 16th, because that's an outside venue anyways. And that's the only location they have here that's in District 2, so I can't speak to any of the others.
at High Point Park, Ms. Morris, did you check to see if anything else was on the book for that day?
No, I haven't checked. I thought if anything else would be on the books, but you all know that, but we can't check to see.
I noticed that the notification, one that's on, the notification, this is the picture you like, or as far as manpower, are you all going to be?
That would be full stop.
June 30th. Do you have anything on your book for High Point Park on June 30th?
No, sir.
So, what's the pleasure of the council?
Second.
Yes, vote.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Ken Turner?
My name is Ken Turner. I'll get it 102 Turner Lane, 8 Mile. Mr. Mayor and City Council, I'm going with the request of the Dunham family to have an autistic child. I believe you have a letter. She's requesting that something be done about the speed motorist that comes by the house. Her 20-year-old autistic son has a mind of a small child. And sometimes we slip out of the house and get in the street. And, as we were standing there by her house, it's 20 miles speed zone. There was a little white Toyota that came by us. We had to be making 45 or 50 miles an hour in that 20 miles speed zone. She was asking for a speed bump on the road. Mr. Tanner, I talked to you about it earlier. You've had any solution to this problem? Statement.
I'll be here with the chief to see what we can do to try to look at that area and make sure as best we can that the speed limit is observed.
She left her, gave her phone number on the bottom of this page. Does she need to call you or?
No, I'll contact her. Yes.
I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Natalie Moffitt? Ms. Moffitt? Danielle Gibbs? Item for discussion, I need a motion to introduce an ordinance amending 2011-2012 general fund budget.
doesn't have to do it. That doesn't have home. And you know what's up there saying. Yes, sir.
President, City Council, what I had, in past weeks, we have been going back and forth with the opportunity to use some of the budget reserve to support the police department and trying to make sure we keep officers on the street. And we had a budget limit that we was asking for $210,000 to be transferred. I've heard the council members have had concerns about transferring all of the money, but will support some of the money out of it. And what I ask is that you transfer half of it, which it will be $110,000 from the budget reserve, but leave $100,000 in there for any concern that you may have for the future. I would also then ask, with the information that you are going to provide me, that I asked you to give me on 2 weeks ago, that we would look at those line items and look at the other $100,000 or so that we can come back and make a presentation to you. One of our goals is we have been very effective with the increase of police and solving crime just recently. And it is because we have some officers that are really out there on the street and really care to make their calls, and the calls have really been reduced in response time. If you ride now, you can almost see a vehicle or law enforcement officer, police on Wilson Avenue, Light Road, 45, Main Street. If you ride that corner, you most likely to see a law enforcement officer at this time. And it's been a long time since we've been in the position to do that. And since we have found a way to resolve a lot of issues with pensioners, we've got to the position where we can also see our way through. You know, for a while we've been not able to see the forest for the trees, but we are at this point where we see where we can make some moves and improve some of these areas. And I would ask you all to approve this $110,000 today, which is reduced from what you requested. And looking at what I had presented to you on 2 weeks to present to me, and look at those areas for the rest to be cut from. And I think we got enough time to do that. And that's my appeal. And I think after a lot of realization, it shouldn't be my way or your body, either your way. But I think that we compromise to do what's best for the citizens. And this has truly been a benefit to the citizens to improve public safety in the city. So I would ask that you all take action on this today. And that is what you would say.
The only thing I want to add, I want to thank Rebecca Weaver for taking the time to sit down with the council on last week so that we were able to at least get to a point where we probably should have been before April in terms of being able to determine what necessary funding, by way of a budget plan that could have been appropriated in advance for making sure that the needs is met to cover the hiring of these officers. But we were, we took the mayor's request to task, and I appreciate him giving the council the opportunity to at least come up with some additional alternatives. And we've made progress, and we've made some headway in that matter, which is really important because there were a number of things that have been identified and discovered that were not considered prior to the initial amendment coming before the council, in spite of the concerns we had about utilizing the entire reserve. But it was also indicated in the meeting that we would not entertain it until the council had had a full opportunity to complete its review, to make sure that if there was any additional areas, because as I indicated in the meeting, there's also some other areas that are in need of amendments that probably, or matter of fact, are more pressing, because those funds have already been expended over and above the amount that was approved, which means it either needs to be amended or it stands to be an unauthorized expense, which is something that we always need to be mindful and take into consideration of. So the amount of the $110,000 was actually put forth by my efforts to try and find additional means. So I do appreciate you moving on that, but I think there's more we can do, and perhaps not even have to use the whole 110. So being responsibly and being effective in trying to identify, I would ask that you would at least stand by and give the council an opportunity to finish its review, to make sure that not only can we do what's being requested here, but go a bit further responsibly and accountably towards the other areas of cuts that can and should be taken. And that request was granted on Monday. So with no disrespect of not being able to go forward, I think this is also an additional method on your part to support what we're trying to do collectively, and I do appreciate it. So I would ask Chair that you would continue forward with being able to address what we started last week.
I just wanted to say, I did not attend the meeting, the finance committee meeting. I don't attend because it always ends up just so what we see now. But it goes on, and there's no end to it. I submitted my information directly to the mayor as far as number one, that I am in agreement as far as transferring of the funds from the budget reserve. Secondly, I did recommend to him that possibly my colleagues would consider, if he will look at other line items, such as line items as far as salaries and positions that has not been filled, into various miscellaneous accounts and so forth. My thing, if my colleagues have looked at and stated that they can understand and see what $110,000 that they possibly is in agreement, then why not go ahead and amend that line item? One of the other things, as far as to the mayor, I suggested, and I didn't know he was going to make the statement that he made, I suggested that maybe for once that this council can look at what the needs are and come together if he would consider looking at our line items and reducing. That maybe if monies a sufficient amount remain in the budget reserve, that maybe we can come to some type of agreement. And now, once again, it is put off. And I can guarantee you the next week it will be put off, and the next week it will be put off, and the next week it will be put off. Because really the issue is not to the point, it's not really this. That's not really the issue. So that's my statement. I'd like to thank you for letting me do that, Mr. Chair.
Councilman Thomas, I have included, I guess you see here, the number item for discussion number 2 is Councilwoman Martin Harris' budget recommendation. And I've been making recommendations to this administration since 2010. And I think not once have they ever taken me up on any of the recommendations that I've given them. But I've given them a new modified recommendations today. And I have a bigger concern with this budget other than just transferring funds. And I think that we overlook the fact that we have a lot of problems in this financial situation that's going to continue to plague this city year after year after year. And I put it in writing and a few things that I would like to highlight, but I want the modification to Operation Sozo to be added as a matter of records to the city finances. And one thing is, Operation Sozo is always a framework. A framework means it's just something you build upon. And according to our 2010 financial audit report on page 11, the city continues to operate the golf course in a net asset deficit of $387,652. The golf course continued to be a drain on the general funds. That's my number one concern. My number two concern is that according to the April 2012 financial report, the mayor continues his habitual use of unauthorized expenditures in the amount of $37,327.06. Well, Mayor, at some point in time, you have to stop spending monies and then come to the council and want us to rectify it. We can't do that. That's not the way we're supposed to function. You're supposed to get your funds first and then go spend them. This is according to this book here, the financial report book of April 2012. You'll continue to do the same things that I complain about. So you want to pretend or come up here and say the council won't transfer funds from the budget reserve when I have a greater problem than just transferring funds from the budget reserve. If we're going to continue these unauthorized expenditures, we're going to have to always go back and continue to make budget amendments for you. Now, I know this council did some budget amendments for you in the tone of $500,000. I didn't vote for that then, and I'm probably not going to vote for it now because you've got to stop doing those bad habits. And those bad habits are creating the situation that we're in now. Even though you're sitting there laughing, you think it's funny, because you never taken anything that I've said seriously. But one day you're going to have to answer to that. You've got to stop doing that. And what I've done, Councilman Towner, President, I have included 41 recommendations to the administration. 41 recommendations that should be able to save the city between now and October the 1st, 2012, $254.29. Now, I know these numbers are not exact to the T because the only figures I had to use was the April 30th, 2012 book. But we have some serious problems other than just transferring money from one line item to another line item, and we need to seriously look at that. So, I know you all like to say I've not ever supported the mayor's budget in 5 years. I'm still not going to support it because you'll continue to overspend and we'll continue to work over budget. We'll continue to spend over revenues. These numbers, I understand, are just projections. And I always ask you all every year, why do we have to project on the high side? Can we project sometimes on the low side? Because we know the economy is not what it used to be. And we continue to go on the high side. We've got to look at that and make some serious cutbacks, some serious stop spending. And even on here, I recommend one of the things, we spend an awful lot of money on cell phone usage. If you look here, I'm asking that we eliminate the cell phones for all departments. We have about $20,000 still left in there, but I believe I make a recommendation that for those city employees that are using their personal cell phones, that perhaps maybe we can give them a $25 telephone allowance or cell phone allowance. I'm again asking that council members consider giving up their salaries. That's $16,000 over the next 3 or 4 months. And I've given you some other council office. I'm asking everybody to agree in this shared responsibility of getting our finances back in control. The miscellaneous account in the council's account is $10,300. Our discretionary fund is $18,000. The miscellaneous expense is $3,400. So it's a lot of areas that we can stand to improve. We just chose not to do it. And we need to look at doing that. So I would like to make my modifications and my recommendations a matter of record. And when you look at this book, you'll see that the city of Prichard, we pay an awful lot of bank fees on dormant accounts. That's costing us, it may seem kind of minute, but they're costing us $5 and $6 a month on dormant accounts. It's some kind of way we've got to stop all of those bleedings of these different accounts. Can you explain to me on the appropriation why we're not paying the Board of Health, Mobile County delegation? The Board of Health, we owe them $12,000. The Mobile County delegation, we owe them $8,000. The Personnel Board, we owe them $12,000. South Alabama Planning, we owe them $12,000. That if we're not gonna pay them, that means we got $44,000 that we can look at police officers and other things that we need to be doing. And I just don't understand why we're in this situation when we have funds. The easiest thing is just to take it out of budget reserve and use it for something else. But I would like to make this a matter of record, please. Thank you.
You know, it's real comfortable to sit up and listen to this stuff that Councilwoman Martin Harris is talking about, because she's not talking about anything happening in Prichard. She may be looking at Daphne's budget or somebody else's, but she definitely not looking at the city of Prichard. Because we don't overspend, we don't have the finance director right here. And I'm gonna tell you another thing. The DA office have all of our financial information, and they never will find that I've overspent the end of the jump that you just said. So I want you to understand one thing. Not that every citizen right here understand this shit.
It's right here. It's right here. You
It
want
must
the
be that.
surety?
It must be
Would you like
that.
the surety?
It must be that, but
He's not here listening to us.
But it's here.
one of the
Give him
things,
respect, the man's talking.
one of the things that we are going to do is we're not going to overspend. We didn't ask for any other line item, but trying to keep police off. All that other stuff that she's talking about, she must be misreading that document. And I will let the finance director explain to you the financial condition of this city. And I guarantee you won't find nothing like you project.
You're right,
If you
Larry.
will give Rick Williams an opportunity to do that, this is what he do every day.
Yeah, you're right. I do study the city of Daphne financial report and other cities' financial reports, just to see how we hold up to other cities as well. This is the report that your finance director puts out each month. And if anyone thinks that I'm lying, you're more than welcome to see it for yourself. We have unauthorized expenditures that I've outlined in this book. Now, I'm not sitting up here telling you hot air and just talking and da-da-da-da. You can see it for yourself. Now, I've made mine a matter of record. Now, if you want to continue to deny that you make unauthorized expenditures, that's left up to you. But you've got to explain to the citizens why you have these expenditures here that we have not authorized you to do. Now, this is in black and white. If anybody wants to see it for themselves, it's here. Thank you. Here you go. I'll show it to you right now.
No, you're good, I'm council.
No, you.
Next item, I'm good. Move on.
Motion to introduce order, Councilwoman Edwards.
This is a bunch of
This is meeting halfway. This is meeting halfway. As long as both sides is given to come halfway, I will change and support. Because I think that put us in a position that if both sides give halfway, that put us in a position to start negotiating. So that as long as we are not at the table, this is $110,000. That is a long way from $210,000. And I found some discretion in yours. And the mayor came halfway, I will change and support because there is room for negotiation. Anytime one side give and come halfway, there's room for negotiation. As long as there's negotiation, there's always a possibility for a solution.
But Chair, I think at the end of the day, I think you still are remiss in looking at the truth of the situation. That the council it is not a simple matter. And I don't know why it seems like some of the colleagues seem to overlook that for whatever reason. We have an obligation, we have an accountable obligation to the oath of office and to the people to do what is right first and foremost. Any event or whatever decisions we need to make to support what needs to be supported in the city for its employees. But at the end of the day, we have to do the right thing. And you're continually overlooking what I think you just either want to ignore it. Now, we have an issue beyond making sure that these guys are stay employed. The method and how they were put on has to be addressed in some manner. I think you ought to be pretty proud that we at least are able to get to a point of communicating how we can collectively resolve it, as opposed to dealing with the reality of how we got here. And I've said that 1,000 times. I am in complete support of doing what we need to do to keep these officers here. But you're overlooking the fact of how they got here. Now, I'm man enough to look past that for the good of the whole, for the good of the city. But if you want to keep overlooking the truth of the matter, the legality of it, then this situation can really take a turn for the worse.
Thank you, Councilman. Let me clarify something, and you can go back to the minutes. When Chief Gardner brought the IMAX,
That's a beer downtown.
wait, listen, I listened to you. I listened to you. When he brought that proposal passed this council by 3 votes, which the state statute said. Councilwoman Young voted, Councilwoman Evans, and myself voted to approve I-Traffic. And if you read I-Traffic included in that proposal 6 police officers. When that 3rd vote was cast, that gave the administration the permission to hire those 6 officers. Now later on, when an amended version came where it was renegotiated to give the city additional funding under I-Traffic, Councilwoman Young voted against it. But regardless of what you say, he did not hire 6 police officers on his own. I-Traffic gave him that authority because that I-Traffic was passed by 3 votes. And those 6 officers was listed in the original contract.
That's true.
Thank you. That's right.
Ordinance denied. Go ahead. Next item, Madam Clerk.
I need a motion to make the modification to Operation So-So presented by Councilwoman Harris on matter of record. So moved.
Second, Chair.
Cast your vote. Motion passed.
Chair, with the item of budget, I offer that the information that we did discuss on Monday, the Finance Committee meeting that I provided to the council earlier this week in regards to this issue that we're still discussing, also be made a matter of record, please, at the consent of the council. It's regarding the budget analysis.
Consent. Okay. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Under, a motion on a resolution authorizing and requesting the mayor of the city of Prichard to place an honorary street sign for Sam Lucas Senior at Main Street and Garrison and Main Street in Clark.
Garrison.
Right.
So moved.
Mr. President, I would just like to,
Excuse me 1 minute. The mayor had asked that he speak.
Yes, so I stand on.
Okay.
thank you. I would just like to take this opportunity to reflect on something that was very troubling that happened in our community sometime with Barbara Minister, Sam Richardson. And we had marches, we had all the police do good work to catch the perpetrator that did this. And Ms. Richardson was a pillar in this community. All of us agree to that. And that situation was a very eye-opening situation, not just a loan, but it was one that brought a commitment to all of us. And that's when we talked about all of these things and increasing our offices and doing everything that we're doing, that we have a couple councilors that are hesitant of making us pretty much back in that same position. But I just want to recognize Ms. Richardson and the family. And we have Judge Hall who's here. And we would just like to recognize the family. We would please stand. And thank you all. I would ask that the council approve this resolution. And on Saturday, 16th at 12 o'clock, on Main Street from Clark to Garrison, there will be signs placed to honor Sam Richardson as honorary during those blocks on that street that he frequented every day and he worked every day. And we're going to put those signs up, and on the 16th, we will have a presentation that we will be presenting to his mother, his wife, his sisters, and his favorite niece. And we will have an opportunity, we invite all of you all to come out and reflect in this moment, because this is a great opportunity. Because public safety is a key. It's a real issue. It goes beyond what you're talking about on this paper. Because we talk about lives. And I do appreciate Ms. Birch trying to do what she's doing, because this is serious. This is a serious issue. So hopefully, something through some spirit to touch you to help us move that forward than where we are now, because that's where we're headed. And I would ask the council to approve this and ask you to be present and on time on this day to honor a man that was a good for this community that we so much respect. Thank you. 16th of June, which will be not this Saturday, next Saturday, at 12 o'clock. And what we will do is we plan to walk from Clark to Garrison on Main and make the presentation. We will have two signs we will unveil on both ends of that street. And we will be out there on that day. And we just made 2 hours of festivity. We know we're going to be hot, but it's well worth it. Thank you.
Thank you. I gave my wholehearted support for it when I saw it on the agenda. I thought it was a great, outstanding thing. Probably couldn't have taken place on a better weekend, which is Father's Day weekend. I think Sam was a great man and a great father, more so than anything. A father to the community, truly. And I think it's a great step forward to recognize and honor one of Prichard's father.
I think everyone that was raised up in that area got many haircuts in that barbershop there. I know when I was coming up there, we enjoyed walking right up to the corner there, and you know, with the little ice cream shop and everything. And let me say this: I admired him. He kept a nice looking Cadillac. It stood out when you came down Main Street. It stood out. You know when Mr. Sam was in that shop. Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Cast your vote, please. Motion carried. And also on item 4, Madam Clerk.
Motion to request from Mayor Davis to block out Main Street at Garrison and Clark, Daytona and John Avenue on June 16, 2012, from 12 o'clock noon to 2 o'clock p.m. for the street dedication for Mr. Sam.
Second. Okay. Cast your vote, please.
I have a question I wanted to ask. I know the mayor is requested this, but I wanted to ask the chief. The blocking off is okay for Mr. Prichard.
Mr. President, you announced that this had been approved. I can understand the heartfelt warmth that Ms. Richardson or someone from the family, if you would just like to, it has been approved, you all just like to have a word with the council. If you would allow me, Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. Honorable Mayor Davis and President Talon and council persons and all the citizens of Prichard. We just want to take this opportunity to thank you on behalf of the Richardson family. We are so very humbled and touched by this generosity of, recognition of showing your support for such a great man, and a man who not only just loved his family, but he also loved the city of Prichard and the citizens. So we want to thank you and encourage you to please come out on that hot June 16th day. I will be there, and I certainly hope the citizens of Prichard will come out too. But thank you so much, and I hope that God bless each and every one of you for your kindness shown to this family and to the memory of a great man. Thank you.
I need a motion to make matter of two correspondence to Councilwoman Edwards. The first is related to her budget amendments and establishing additional streets for the individuals that contribute to the establishment of Power Park.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to say, as I stated before, when the resolution or whatever was sent here by District 90 representatives, that it was more people who were involved as far as Power Park. As a matter of fact, if you go back in history, you'll find out. I don't know how Mr. Pollock's name became the person to be put on the building, because he did less than the ones that you see on their list. This was an organization, the Prichard Civic Club. They worked tirelessly in order to raise money, selling plates every Saturday and sometime other than that, in order to raise the money. It was first named Hogan, and then it was named City Park, and then somewhere or another became Power Park. And I asked my colleague, Mr. Taylor, suggested, when you're talking about adding people's names, you have to be helpful to know who all worked tirelessly in order to get a job done. And I do agree with my colleagues that, and I would ask my colleague, Mr. Ephraim, that he will take the message back to District 98 representative that I support the fact of a landmark representing each person who worked hard for that part to become what it is. Thank you.
Thank you. So moved. Do we have a second? Yes, motion carries. Thank you.
Anthony Daniels. Anthony Daniels.
I just wait for you.
Okay. This next item from the council conference, I need a motion to approve the minutes of May 31st, 2012.
Motion carried.
At this time, we have a public hearing. It's on a request made by Bahami LLC, doing business as Z-Tech, located at 507, Z-Tech 507, located at 5927 Highway 45 North and 8 Mile, for out-purpose retail beer and out-premise retail table wine license. Representative, come up to the podium. They just name on the ground.
Please state your name and your address and the reason you're here to appeal before the council. All those in favor of supporting Mr. Patel, we ask that you come stand there. Anyone that's opposed, we ask that you come to my left and your right.
My name is Ajay Patel, and I'm doing the business at Chevron and the Z-Tech 507, that's 5957, Highway 45 in the 8 Mile area, having an off-premises beer and wine sale, and having a continued business, serving the community, and making sure the proper person get not under selling, and making sure every employee follows the laws and everything. So I'm pretty happy. If you have any objection, please let me know.
You have anything to add to, ma'am?
No, sir, I just work him. I work for the owner of the property of Z-Tech 507-5957 Highway 45, 8 Mile, Alabama. We lease building to him, and we would like for you to vote that ordinance for alcohol and wine. We're going to see as responsible for it.
This is in my district. I've been out there this morning, and I know exactly where it is in that advertisement. As a matter of fact, stopped in there throughout the years, and there's never been a problem out there. So I move that
Second.
let's go. Thank you. The city clerk will be contacting you on tomorrow.
Okay, Mayor Davis, do you have a report?
Yes. I think I got one here, one of this What I did presented. Yes, what I just presented to you all is 3 letters. One is from Governor Bentley, and another one is from the Department of Transportation, Director Mr. Cooper, and the other one is from Commissioner Littlefield, Montgomery County Commissioner. And if you see that we've been aggressive with trying to find funding to resurface and reconstruct Wilson Avenue. And I want to let the council know we've awarded, I had a letter from the governor, almost $5 million to reconstruct Wilson Avenue. And if you ride down Wilson Avenue now, you know it's definitely needed. So we will move forward on that. And if you see the letter from Commissioner Littlefield, there's a request for us to turn in information for pay-as-you-go road program. And I spoke with Ms. Littlefield. As you know, the money, the $5 million have a 80-20 match. 80% is the $5 million for the construction, and 20% would have to come from the city. Commissioner Littlefield has agreed that you all would approve that, and pay-as-you-go funding can be used to pay 20% that the city will not have to come up with for the construction of Wilson Avenue. So I would hope and request that the city council approve the match of this 80-20 to redo Wilson Avenue is voted on today, so we can get that information too. As you know, that's the day of June the 17th that she has requested this information. So if we would look for other means that we have in-house and through other grant funding to get other streets done, but pay as you go can really cover this 20%. I think it's worthy. Wilson Avenue is a thoroughfare through this city from Mobile to Chickasaw. And this will be resurfaced from Highway 45 to Highway 43.
Steve.
Highway 45 is St. Steve.
St.
Steve Road.
When you say Wilson Avenue?
Wilson Avenue will be resurfaced from Highway 45 to St. Stephen's Road to Highway 43 to Telegraph Road.
And she asked for a list of those. Thank you, ma'am. I do appreciate the important information. You indicated, I'm sorry, in the letter from the commission, she indicated a listing to show the name of the street. Am I to basically accept that we basically have a communal offering of those particular streets without any additional offerings coming from any other districts on other streets, since the match is going to take up what the city would normally be getting from the county as pay-as-you-go? Is that my understanding?
Well, the understanding is we normally wouldn't even get no more than $1 million at pay-as-you-go road program to do street.
Correct.
And she is willing to take those funds now and use this match. So the city wouldn't have the difficulty of trying to come up with the match that the city don't have to do the match. And I just think that to have an opportunity, a window like this here, but we'll never get it again. I mean, we had a great opportunity when President Obama gave us stimulus money to redo Main Street. We have this acre money, a great opportunity to take care of another major thoroughfare in Wilson Avenue. I think these other short streets that we got going through the city, we can find ways to manage those like we have been and we're doing now. So we won't not ask the county for any more funding out of other sources of grant funds, such as the consortium fund. We won't try to not use, we will continue to use funds from Alabama Trust to resurface the streets. So we still have a means to do what we need to do to continue to maintain. But I think that even if we had to give up some local streets, short streets, this is an opportunity for us to get a major thoroughfare down through downtown Prichard.
I agree, and if you recall, we pushed for this under the MPO, but it was never given an opportunity to be considered. So I think it's a long time coming and much appreciated. I think it probably covers the majority of other districts we have, but a lot of the other districts and their constituents will be appreciative of it as well. So it's a big thing, it's a big plus, and I'm very excited about this. But that was my understanding, that instead of us trying to individually submit smaller streets throughout the inner parts of the city, that we would have a collective acceptance to offer up these main streets to make sure that the funding is consolidated for Wilson Avenue.
Mr. Chair, this is to the mayor. I think this is wonderful. That's great for Wilson Avenue. Great. Now, I heard you say you can find some other funds for some other streets. And I like to be first on this because I was kind enough. I'm always a team player. And I was kind enough to give up. I think my colleagues, some of them, they got some streets that was not put on the list, and I gave over to them. My colleague here got 5, 6, or 7 streets done. I'm saying I need to submit mine first. Oh. I have been given, and I spend and hustle, and I pay my own streets to the most part with my little discretionary money. So I'm asking you, please let me submit my list first.
All I can do is I can say that you all can submit any streets that you need. We're going to continue to go out and find funding and use the funding that we have to do these streets. Infrastructure is big on my agenda, and we're willing to continue to do that. But I think at this point, we can take the position and move forward on Wilson Avenue.
Matt Davis, in America, we teach our children 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. District 1 should have the first. We are in District 1. Nothing to say.
Now we committee report.
Now, on a lighter note, but on a more realistic note, the city has been in a position to go back to the bankruptcy court on Tuesday, but the council has yet to be informed as to what the city's position will be. Do you plan on communicating or coordinating the city's efforts to reposition itself and go back to the bankruptcy on Tuesday?
The city is not officially going back for a status hearing on what the appeals were. And you all have, I suggested that you contact Mr. Scott Williams. And I still say do that because Scott Williams costs a lot of money to come from Birmingham to stay here for a couple of hours to tell you what to answer your question when he can just do it over the phone a lot cheaper. And I just think that there will be no reasonable, and the way that we're talking about money, having to come down here to hold a conversation about the review that is going on in the court. I think you can make that phone call to him, ask him, because it's just a review. It's not saying what we're going to do. It's actually they're coming back for a review, and then we'll come back and make a decision on what we need to do.
When you say a review, you mean at the courthouse with Judge Shue?
Yeah, there's a status here.
Thank you.
Everybody got the same information.
And that's why I was asking, because the way I read it, it appeared as though the city's previous filing that was appealed was accepted to go back. It didn't mention anything about a status, so your attempt to do it then has been granted, which means on Tuesday, that's what we're going to do. And I wanted clarification on that.
It never says a status. So it's going back and forth to identify what the status is from the appeal. That we already know.
Thank you. You know, he did make him out, but
Commissioner Lovegood, she wants a copy of the minutes where the council agreed to this. Am I correct, ma'am?
Yes.
I'm fine with that, but what I want to make sure too, and I asked the mayor, he hasn't been clear. When she indicated on the letter, provide me a list of the streets, that basically means one street or two streets composite of the funds that are going to be matched or put towards these road pavers, which means this is not necessarily an opportunity for the council members to offer streets in their districts that are long overdue from being paved or haven't been paved in a number of years. So I want to be clear about what we're doing, because she's not requesting any specific roads. That was verbally given. There's no mention of Wilson Avenue in here, so I want to make sure what we are required to do based on this request in writing from the commission.
Well, the request that she said came prior to the announcement for the A trip. If you look at the date on the letter,
Right.
The A trip was just announced last week, and she sent the letter a few days before that. So the request came prior to that. So the phone conversation I had with her on yesterday talked about this other opportunity. She thought it was the more feasible opportunity for us to be able to do it. And I tell you, I understand what's going on, but if you don't want to take $5 million and get the street done, you can sit there and take it back to another one where you need, like you do everything else. That's the question she made.
I have one question. Did she say what the dollar, did she say the dollar amount that she would give us would be enough to cover our 20%?
She did.
Do we have a motion?
I would, make a motion that the information requested by the mayor via, Commissioner Material Bloodgood, as indicated in the letter received, be accepted.
And Mayor, we would ask you to add in there when you send that to Commissioner Lovegood, if she would in turn send the city a letter stating that the match will cover Wilson Avenue. Do we have a second? You do? Cast your vote, please. Thank you.
Most of your,